Warren Buffett is one of the world's greatest investors, but it looks like he just bought one of the worst stocks. Let's go ahead and break it down. Now, Warren Buffett, we've talked about him many times on the channel. He is a multi-billionaire, one of the top 5 or 6 richest people on the face of the earth. And he is known for what is called value investing. That is buying a great business at dirt cheap prices. Now, he's owns Apple, American Express, he's owned airlines. I mean, he has done incredibly well, and his stock is Berkshire Hathaway, which again has done incredibly well. And when you compare him to nearly any investor in history, he's got to be at the #1 spot. But he ain't perfect, and clearly neither am I, but this move seems a bit puzzling. So he just bought nearly 10 million shares of Sirius XM Radio. The stock symbol is SIRI. I want to repeat this: Sirius XM Radio. Okay, here's why this is puzzling to me and to most others. So it's not just me that's bringing this up. So first off, the stock is up about 36% in the last 6 months. Okay, cool. It is down about 24% over the last year. If I go back and look at, just pulling it up here on my tablet, if I look at a 5-year chart, the stock is down 14%. Over 5 years, the stock is down 15%. That's obviously not great, but here's the other part too. Is Sirius XM Radio really competing in the audio space? Now, they did buy Pandora in 2019, but it ain't Spotify. It's not even Tidal, right? So I went through and did a bit more research. So the addressable market, this is all the listeners that are out there available for a company like Sirius XM Radio, is about 133 million individuals. Sirius XM only has 6.2 million subscribers for Pandora. Okay, the entire market is 133 million listeners. You only have 6.2. And again, I don't know about y'all, I don't really know the last time anybody was really listening to Pandora outside of like a dentist office or a store that just has it on in the background consistently. Now, they have made their money, both SiriusXM and Pandora. Again, they bought them in 2019. It's through advertising. Well, if the advertising space is uniform, we have seen via Facebook, via Alphabet and others, a lot of companies have dropped their advertising spending. I wonder how that is going to impact a company like Sirius as well. I'm also curious, and again, maybe my car is just too old, right? Or maybe I just don't listen to radio. Are people even listening to radio anymore? Like I thought we were all on Spotify and YouTube Music and all these other spaces. I don't really see a ton of growth here. Now, again, when you look at the company's last few earnings reports, their earnings are growing, like they're making a little bit more in cash flow, but that's only growing by 3.25%. Okay, imagine you getting a 3% raise every year versus what some of these other companies are making, where you're seeing their cash flow grow by 12, 14, sometimes 20%. Do you want 20% growth or do you want 3? Right, I think that's quite obvious. So this is one that is really puzzling. But I will say this. There is one positive. At least that. Okay, maybe two. Maybe two positives as I think a little bit more about it. So one positive is if you are what we call a technical investor, which means that you like to look at charts and you let this image, right, the chart and what these lines are doing, you're looking at that to tell you whether or not you should buy something or leave it alone. They did pass a technical indicator about a month ago that says that the stock is set to rise. And with Warren Buffett putting his billions of dollars behind it, you might be on to something. Now, the downside here is if you go back and look at the chart for Sirius XM, you'll also see there was a major spike earlier this year, and what happened promptly after? The stock really began to tank shortly after. So you can take that how you want. I will also say this. When Warren Buffett does invest and becomes public news, like it is now, people do tend to pour into it, and it does have a little bit of a Buffett effect. It's also because the company is, less than $10. A lot of people feel they're going to afford it or can afford it and could pour in a whole lot more. The question is it going to be something that's going to be, usable or, investable for the long term? Now, again, he's Warren Buffett. He A, has the money to lose, right? If he wants to waste 40 million or however much he put into it, he can do that. I ain't got 40 million. You ain't got 40 million. Every subscriber here combined don't have 40 million. Okay. So at least my subscribers. I don't know about those who like Mr. Beast, who have, I don't know how many subscribers he got. But you'll get the point here, right? That is my concern. So for me, as much as I like Warren Buffett, as much as I like to follow what he does, right? And sometimes I will invest in things that he invests in, like Apple, like American Express at one point. I don't know if this is the one. I don't know if this is the one. It's just from a business perspective. And again, I'm saying this knowing that he knows more than me when it comes to investing, but on his face, it just doesn't seem like the best thing to do. Now, I also say in my defense, when he bought some of the airlines, I want to say he bought JetBlue, if I remember correctly, right before the pandemic. When he bought in, I said, hey, I don't know if airlines are going to be effective. I don't think that this is going to be a good move. You can go and check that video out that I did at the end of 2019 going into 2020, and I was right, and he was wrong. Now, he's still richer than me, okay, but, you know, sometimes you can pick these things out, sometimes you can't, but that's my thought about SiriusXM. Let me know what you think. Am I wrong? Like, do people really listen to the radio, and I just don't know? Do you listen to Pandora, and I just don't know? Or maybe I'm just in my own Spotify space or Apple Music. Let me know what you think in the comments. But in the meantime, if you want to learn more about Warren Buffett and how he invests and how he's been so successful, you want to check out these videos right here.